Do you like my Christmas sweater?
I do. It's very cute.
I have so many Christmas sweaters. I have like at least seven.
What do you mean you have 7 Christmas sweaters? I love Christmas and I don't have Christmas sweaters.
I buy a Christmas sweater once a year. It's like
Do you
my
really? That's like
yeah,
your tradition.
yeah. I like
That is
started
so
doing that.
interesting.
I think one year I bought like two or three. I buy at least one Christmas sweater a
Huh.
year, starting in like 2015, I think. 2015 or 2016 was when I started doing it. And then Emma bought me a Christmas sweater this year.
Nice.
That was really nice from like TJ Maxx.
I feel like I'm always buying Christmas sweaters and then I never wear them because I feel like not embarrassed, but I feel like I can't work it, you know?
Aw,
Um,
I think you would look so good
which
in
I think is
them.
hilarious because I love Christmas and I love Christmas sweaters. I ordered a Christmas sweater. Hopefully it'll get here soon. And it's got like a cat on it. What does it say? It says something really dumb. Oh, it says feline festive, like feeling festive. And it's
Did
got
you get
like
that from Look Human?
no.
Uh,
I ordered it from On Cloth. It's got
okay.
like a little Christmas hat on. I'm really excited to wear that to work actually.
Yeah.
So I'm like this year, because I have one that's like it's not an ugly Christmas sweater. It's just like a Christmas sweater
Mhm.
because it's got deer on it,
Mhm.
reindeer. But it's like it's not really making a statement.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I wear my feline festive, it's gonna be like I'm here. I'm finally here. I'm not gonna play. Not
Yeah.
no more. Christmas.
I
Christmas is
think it's
upon us.
I like ugly Christmas sweaters, but it has to be like it can't just be ugly. It has to be tacky and ugly. Cuz I if it's just like
Like
gross,
you.
like me, yes.
Sorry.
Tacky so it's cute. It has to be like an like this is cute. It's
No,
like
it's super
ugly,
cute.
but
It's
it's
a super
cute.
cute sweater.
Yeah. And
I'm
I
super
usually I
jealous.
thrift them. I think I've bought one or two that were like actually in the store, but mostly I like go thrift shopping. But when I was younger in middle school, I had a Christmas cardigan.
You would.
And I wore it in middle school and high school. And oh my god, Monze, this is the best Christmas sweater I've ever owned. Nothing will top it. But I was so small that I couldn't like continue wearing it. It was like so it was like a cardigan. And it was like it looked like there were little Christmas lights on it from the beading. Like there were beads on it and like sequins and there was like little like felt things that were like on it and stuff.
Uh
Like there
huh.
was like a whole scene. Like you know those like those old grandmas that are like, "Oh, I'm wearing my Thanksgiving vest," and it's like kind of like tacky, but it's like got like stuff all over it or whatever. It was like
Uh
that, but a
huh.
cardigan, and like a 12-year-old was wearing it. Like it was a great Christmas. It was the peak Christmas sweater. It was so good. I loved that thing. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need Christmas sweaters. I'm just not gonna stop until I have one for every day of December. 31. And
You're
then
gonna
I
wear Christmas sweaters. So is it gonna be like post Christmas? It's gonna be like New Year sweaters, or just continue? Yeah, or are you just gonna continue wearing Christmas sweaters despite the
what I was
season
thinking is I need at
being
least
over?
enough between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but
Mm-hmm.
then we could go further, Halloween to Christmas.
Halloween costumes. I bought a Halloween sweater off of that website. They also sell Christmas sweaters, but they do sell Halloween sweaters, and they're super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So then October is just all Halloween sweaters. And then
yeah, yeah,
November,
yeah.
December is Christmas. And then I like slowly like then I start going into like the Christmas, but it's like kind of like not obviously Christmas sweaters in January. But I would love like a New Year's sweater. That I
And
just
then we
like
come, and then we see you on like Hoarders because you own all these Christmas sweaters. Look at the strange human being. Look at all their weird sweater collection.
I have an AM sweater, a PM sweater, an after midnight sweater, a
You have a
pajama sweater.
BM sweater too.
Ew! Let me put on my poop sweater. I have to poop. Oh,
Hold
nothing
on.
came out.
Hold on. I'm having a BM. Let me go change. You gotta be cozy while you do your poops.
Maybe it'll help me poop better.
Maybe it'll help you poop. It'll motivate you.
I'm so excited to poop because I get to wear my poop
I
sweater.
get to wear my poop sweater.
It has to be like
Yay.
a sweater I really like. I'm like, I only get to wear it when I'm pooping.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe that's how I have love myself into not hating pooping. Or into like trying to poop more regularly.
Oh my god.
Let me put on my poop sweater. Like eventually, like first I only wear it every time I need to poop, but
you
then
keep it in the bathroom so it's always there. Yeah.
It's like hanging on the door, like with the towels. So like at first I only wear it when I know I'm about to poop. But then when I want to be more regular, I put it on preemptively and see if I need to poop.
If you poop, the sweater is on. The bowel movement. The movement is bowling. The bowling is I don't know. Eagle one is on the move.
Eagle one is on the Incoming, we got a bogey.
We have a bogey, yeah, for sure.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah. This has devolved completely. Hey, everybody. You're listening to We Don't Watch Movies with me, Monze. I almost said your name.
I heard you almost say my name. And me, Corinne.
I'm not Corinne, I'm Monze. I'm sorry.
I'm Corinne. I'm not.
Because I'm looking at you. What do you want me to do? This isn't a mirror, but sometimes I forget.
We're like twins. Call us Gemini.
Twins.
Every time we go out, people are like, the double vision.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, as is evident from our podcast art, we're obviously
the same. Anyway, this week we're talking about Clueless.
I'm so surprised you haven't seen this movie. It feels like something you would see.
Okay, yeah. So, well, I guess we'll start with me. I have seen bits and pieces of it. I have never seen the whole movie. Like, I know it's based off of Jane Austen's Emma. I love Jane Austen. I hate Emma. Hey!
Hey!
Hate Emma. Yeah, and that includes your sister, too. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate your sister. I don't know her well enough to hate her or anything, so...
Sorry, Emma, I love you.
But yeah, so I hate Emma. Like, I hate that book.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's so annoying. So like, even older people talk about Clueless and like, oh, well, it's an adaptation of Emma. I'm just like, well, I don't like that book. So I do want to watch it, but it's never, like, on anywhere, and I'm not going to go look for it. Like, if it was on TV, I'd probably watch it. But yeah, so I haven't seen the whole thing. I know that, what's his face is in it?
Wow.
The Ant-Man. What's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd is in it, and I love Paul Rudd. I have a stupid crush on Paul Rudd.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. It's like, look. Chris
For
Evans,
someone who
hot.
Constantly talks shit about
Henry
white
Cavill.
People, the amount of white men you have crushes on.
The white men, yeah, I hate it. I hate myself. But you know what?
What?
There's so many famous white men. And, like, my pickings for non-white men are so slim. But I love most of those non-white men.
So like, proportionally.
Proportionally, it evens out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did you know Michael B. Jordan got Sexiest Man of the Year?
I did,
people?
I saw.
And I was like, it's about goddamn time they got that list right.
Finally,
It's
right?
about goddamn time. Somebody opened their goddamn eyes. He's gorgeous. Oh my god.
I don't think they had it right since Idris Elba was Sexiest Man of the Year.
Oh my god, Idris Elba is so beautiful. I just want to, like, touch his face. I just want to touch it. I just be like, excuse me, sir, can I touch your face?
He'll be
what
like,
did you say?
No. It'll be like that scene from Pacific Rim where he's like, what? Don't ever touch me again. 2, don't ever touch me again.
But I want to. I just want to, like, poke your chin. Just poke. Then I go boop, boop. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I haven't seen Clueless.
Okay.
You know what? I'm also gonna throw it back at you because I was like, of all these movies I suggested, I felt like Clueless was the one you would have watched. So
Oh, um, I don't know why you would think that because I really haven't seen a lot of those types of movies.
I don't know why do you think that of me.
like, like I right when we were talking, right before you said it was an adaptation of Emma, I realized I had gotten it confused with 10 Things I Hate About You.
I have seen 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. That's what I'm talking
Okay.
about. Those kinds of movies where it's like 10 Things I Hate About You, like I didn't see Mean Girls until I was an adult. I didn't see Legally Blonde until I was in college. I didn't see Breakfast Club until college. I
I
didn't
love
see
Breakfast Club.
right, and then I haven't seen like a lot of like those like 90s early 2000s. Like I seen She's the Man, and that was it.
With Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, that was like the one movie like those movies.
And that's like an adaptation of 12th Night, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty like it's kind of funny how close of an adaptation it is because the names are so similar. I was like, oh, I never realized this. But that's like the
and
only.
Sydney White is an adaptation of Snow White.
I don't even know what movie
so
that
good.
is.
It's also with Amanda Bynes. She like goes to college. She tries to join her dead mom's sorority, but everyone there is like a total B word. And then bitch, sorry. I don't know. I
was like, we've said so much worse on this podcast. I'm like, where is the B word coming from?
I say B word. And so she ends up like being run out of the house basically, and she ends up at like this dilapidated frat of all these like 7 nerds. So those 7 nerds are like her dwarfs, and she's Sydney White because she's Snow White. And like the the mean like fraternity sorority lady girl is like her the queen. Anyway, it's pretty good. I recommend watching it.
I've never even heard of that movie until you told me about it.
I've seen a lot of Amanda Bynes movies, so.
The only Amanda Bynes thing I've seen of her is
She's the Man.
She's the Man. Yeah, but like that kind of stuff, like I've seen Freaky Friday and She's the Man. That's about it with like those types of movies. Like I haven't seen like Bend It Like Beckham or Bring It On.
That movie is so good. My friend and I are trying to get our other friends to watch it.
I want to watch it. I remember seeing the previews for it. We just never did. We just didn't watch that kind of stuff. Like the Hollywood version of a Disney movie. We just didn't really watch that. So I've just never seen Clueless. I've seen. I think isn't that the one where she's in that like kind of ugly pink plaid suit and she has like the longish hair. Is that the one?
You've seen, I think it's yellow, but you've seen like her clothing, like
and I think I've seen little like Tumblr posts of the scenes. Is that the one where like someone's breaking down like white privilege to somebody else? Or someone's talking about, like, I want more people at the table. I don't know. I think I've seen lots of little pieces of it, but I haven't seen the movie. I have no idea what it's about. I only vaguely know what Emma is about. But I remember reading a synopsis, and I was like, why was this book, like, written? Like, because I remember trying to read Emma. So I was like, oh, my sister's name's Emma. But then I just couldn't get into it. And then when I read the synopsis, it was just like, this bitch literally... makes problems for herself.
No, that's like the thing, right? Like she's like this rich girl, and she's like, oh, those people would be good together. Those people would be good too. Like she thinks she knows what's good for these people, right? But it just creates problems.
Yeah.
You know.
So she creates problems for other people, and then it bites her in the ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she's like, I don't understand why things aren't working out. Like I'm so perfect, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so she's trying to do all of these matchmaking things, and she fails, or she like, it's sort of like, you know, things happen and it kind of works out, you know, but it wasn't because of her, it was because of other things.
Yeah.
And then she ends up, I know, falling in love with like her best friend. Like that's like in the book. Well, like it's this guy. And he's just like, you keep trying to match all these people, you know, and he's like, why don't you just match yourself with me?
Oh. Ooh.
But yeah.
Okay.
But that's like the book.
So then what do you think?
And this is like changed into like a high school, in modern, quote unquote, modern era,
Yeah.
because this is the 90s.
So then what do you think happens
Well,
in
I
this
know that like this
adaptation?
new girl shows up and she is like, because they're like in a rich school, like a
Mhm.
rich high school, and she's like this clearly, obviously, like poor, clunky scholarship kid or something, and she's like, I'm gonna help you and make you popular, and I think that she like tries, right, like to help her. I think instead of like matchmaking, it's popularity. And
Mhm.
so she ends up making her into a monster, you know what I'm saying? That's what
Ah.
I think happens.
Okay. I have no idea what to even think happens. And like you were saying what you thought, and I was like, that sounds about right. Like I don't
You're
even
like, that
know.
sounds good. I must steal it.
I don't even know where to begin with
Uh
like
huh.
with it. I'm gonna say maybe it's a closer adaptation to Emma, and she's like actually trying to matchmake people together. Because I think the main character, the girl, is rich. She has like a butler, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's
Yeah.
rich.
I think she just
For
goes
sure,
around
she's
being
rich.
clueless. I think that's what the movie's about.
Oh!
Ah!
Ah! Ah!
Yeah, that's what I think.
Cool. I sent you a link to the trailer if you want to do
Ooh.
that now.
Yeah, let's do that
Okay, cool. Should I press play?
now. Yeah.
Okay. Paramount.
Oh, see this scene. This scene is what I was talking about.
Haitians? The Haitians?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this scene they've definitely. I was like totally bugging.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. We can totally party with the Haitians. Oh my god. They all have giant clunky cell phones.
What? That girl looks really familiar.
Yeah, I think she's
Bitch.
in
She's in what? She looks so familiar.
I think she's from Scrubs.
Mm.
I'm not
The
prude, I'm
other
just
girl looks
highly
really
selective.
familiar too.
Yeah, she's another. That's what's her name? Brittany Murphy.
The white girl? Or
Yeah.
the girl with the curly hair?
Well, that's Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Like, why would you take your hands off? Oh my god.
I like his braces.
Oh, she's Alicia Silverstone. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd.
Oh, her. Yeah, I guess she's the Brittany Murphy. That guy looks familiar too. So many people look really
Well,
familiar.
yeah. Whatever.
As if.
I'm gonna be a supermodel. Okay, yeah. So
Her name is Cher
Cher Horowitz.
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 Okay. I'm even more confused.
All right, I'll do the summary. It's on IMDb. I'm gonna
Okay.
do the long one.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Cher Horowitz, nailed it,
Yeah.
is a wealthy, popular 15-year-old living in Beverly Hills with her widowed father, Mel, a successful and high paid lawyer. Though good natured, Cher is naive and caught up in a superficial lifestyle revolving around expensive clothes and the social hierarchy of her high school. Her best friend, Dion, has a similar outlook in life, though she dates a high school boy named Murray, which Cher claims is a pointless endeavor. Cher's debate teacher, Mr. Hall, gives her a C grade for the semester, which starts a dramatic chain of events. Dion, who got a lackluster grade as well, hatches a plan with Cher to find a romantic interest for Mr. Hall. Ooh, maybe you're right. Thus, theoretically, making him happy enough to consider boosting their grades. They select another teacher, Miss Geist, as the chief candidate and spark a mutual interest between her and Mr. Hall with a forged love letter and some subtle manipulation. The teachers soon become a couple and both become much more lenient with their grading. Cher works her grade up to an A-, greatly impressing her father. At home, Cher interacts with Josh, Paul Rudd, the college-age son of one of Mel's ex-wives, who often stays at the Horowitz home to avoid his mother and new stepfather. So he's
gross.
He's like her stepbrother, but not really, because the parents aren't together anymore. Josh is nearly the polar opposite of Cher, an earthy environmentalist with an interest in societal welfare. The two have a generally amiable but lightly contentious relationship, with Cher teasing Josh about his alternative lifestyle, and Josh criticizing Cher's materialism. I like how caring about the environment means you have an alternative lifestyle.
It was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
Inconvenient Truth hadn't come out yet.
He cares about the society and welfare. Alternate lifestyle. Mel openly approves of Josh's self-assurance and focus, often encouraging an annoyed Cher to find similar direction in her life. Ty Frazier, a grungy artist with a trusting disposition and a clueless grasp of high school popularity, transfers to Cher's school. Cher and Dion befriend Ty and decide to give her a makeover to improve her social standing. However, Ty sparks up a romance with cheerful skateboarding stoner Travis Birkenstock. Cher, featuring for Ty's reputation, attempts to steer her toward the rich, popular, newly single Elton. Gross. That's a terrible name. Elton John. Cher leads Ty in after-school workout sessions, guides her in cultivating a new wardrobe, and expands her lexicon with trendy vocabulary. As if. Like, whatever. Josh disapproves of Cher's project with Ty, accusing her of attempting to turn an innocent girl into a superficial brat. But Cher maintains that she is doing Ty a kindness. Like, as if. Through a series of orchestrated interactions, Cher gets Ty and Elton to notice each other. Ty is giddy with excitement, and while Elton is surprisingly receptive, he pays much more direct attention to Cher. To present the newly made over Ty to high school elite, Cher and Dion bring her to a party. Once again, they attempt to steer her toward Elton and believe that they made a connection when Ty is knocked unconscious with a projectile shoe, and Elton revives her with an ice pack. However, when departing, Cher winds up being driven home by Elton, who makes a pass at her, confirming that he had never been interested in Ty. Cher is shocked and repulsed, and Elton abandons her in a parking lot far from home. What a dick. She's immediately mugged.
Oh my God.
And is forced to call Josh from a payphone to come pick her up. On the drive home, Cher suggests that they pick up food for Mel and his colleagues who are working on a difficult case at the house. Impressed by this considerate suggestion, Josh begins to form a new opinion of her. A new transfer student, another transfer student, the suave and handsome Christian, arrives in Mr. Hall's debate class. Cher is taken with him immediately and considers breaking her own rule of never dating a high school boy. What are you going to date? A middle schooler?
A college student, obviously, Monze. Which is also problematic in and of itself.
Yeah, well, the two become friends and soon plan to attend a party along with Ty. Christian arrives at Cher's house to pick her up, and both Mel and Josh are put off by his relaxed jazz cat persona. What is a jazz cat persona? Josh is clearly envious and tells Mel that he will trail them to the party for Cher's protection. Jesus. While
He's
Cher
like
and Christian
20.
While Cher and Christian bond on the dance floor, Ty self-consciously stands alone watching Elton dancing with his new girlfriend, Cher's snotty social rival, Amber. Josh arrives and dances with Ty to help her feel more included and comfortable. Cher is pleasantly surprised by this thoughtful gesture. They just let him in? Like, he's just a random college okay. Cher decides to move things forward with Christian and invites him over one evening when her father is out. To her disappointment, he ignores her aunt's advances in favor of watching Tony Curtis movies. He's gay!
He's gay!
He's gay! I don't blame him. Tony Curtis is beautiful. When driving with Dion and her boyfriend Murray the next day, of course, the only two black people in the movie are dating, Cher laments Christian's lack of sexual interest in her, causing a highly amused Murray to point out that Christian is obviously gay. Embarrassed by her misconception of Christian, she abandons her romantic pursuit of him in favor of maintaining their genuine friendship. While at the mall with Cher and Christian, Ty experiences a traumatic incident as some male acquaintances nearly drop her over the upper level railing as a prank. That is not a prank. That is attempted murder.
My God!
Christian angrily reprimands the culprits and comforts Ty, who was shaken but unharmed. Over the next few days, news of the dramatic event spreads throughout the school, causing Ty's popularity to dramatically increase. Cher watches unnerved as Ty is caught up in the attention, becoming the shallow, snobbish brat that Josh accused Cher of creating. Cher is further disturbed when Ty coldly rebuffs the sweet-natured Travis in favor of a more popular entourage. I think Travis is the guy that she was, the skateboard weed guy. Cher, an atrocious driver, prepares to test for her license, but finds it difficult to focus after the shift in her friendship with Ty. She ultimately fails the driving test and dejectedly returns home to find Ty and Josh playing a flirtatious game of hacky sack. What is
Josh
a flirtatious
doing?
Game of hacky sack mean?
What is happening?
No, what is Ty? No, because Ty goes over to her house.
Yeah, but Josh is like 20. He's at least 18 because he's in college, and Ty is like a 15-year-old, and she's like, "You want to play hacky sack?" And he's like, "Oh,
what does
yeah.
the flirtatious game of hacky sack look like, though?
When you like hit it, you make like a sex noise.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no, I have to pick it up. Look down my shirt and my boobs. Oh,
Bend
I
and
hope you
snap.
didn't see anything. Here we go. Ty disappointment. Ty immediately speaks to Cher in private, excitedly revealing that she has overcome her disappointment about Elton because of her newfound attraction to Josh. Cher is startled by the discomfort she feels in response to this news and tells Ty that she does not think Josh is a good match for her. Ty is affronted and insults Cher before departing. Cher embarks on a solo shopping trip to clear her head and realizes that she herself is in love with Josh.
You're 15?
I am so depressed. I need to go on a solo shopping trip.
Nothing like retail therapy when you're 15 years old and have daddy's credit card.
In an unusually vulnerable mood, Cher goes to her father for advice. Explaining that she is interested in a do-gooder type, though not revealing that her love interest is Josh, she expresses concern that she is too shallow and selfish to win his approval. Mel tenderly assures his daughter that she is an incredibly caring person, constantly going out of her way to help her friends and family, much like her late mother had done. Cher, heartened, resolves to become more compassionate on a wider scale. I'm going to become such a nicer person from now on.
For everybody.
Not like for everyone, not just my friends, but like for the whole entire world, because I have such a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
Not long after their fight, Ty approaches Cher apologetically, and the two become friends again. After watching Travis... I'm so sorry, Cher. You know what? It's not no even problem, Ty.
It's like whatever.
It's like whatever, you know? After watching Travis participate impressively in a skateboarding competition, Cher realizes that he is indeed worthy of Ty's affection and encourages them to reconcile. I saw you skateboard real good. I think maybe you two are meant to be.
You got some Hot Wheels over there. I got this some hot best friend.
In an effort to impress Josh, Cher volunteers to help with a donation drive headed by Miss Geist for victims of the Pismo Beach disaster. Maybe you should do that out of the goodness of your heart and not to impress a boy. Josh takes appreciative notice, and Cher herself feels unexpectedly fulfilled by engaging in this charitable endeavor. She and Josh also spend considerable time helping Mel and his colleagues process paperwork for their important case. I wonder what the
Child
important
labor.
case is about. While working with one of Mel's stressed out underlings at the house, it is discovered that Cher had erroneously sorted some crucial documents, causing the panicked lawyer to cruelly insult Cher and storm out of the house. Cher is crushed, but Josh defends and comforts her, leading them to both leading to them both revealing their feelings for each other. Mr. Hall and Miss Geist are married with many of their students in attendance. That's kind of weird, including Cher, who has brought Josh as their date, Dion, Murray, Ty, and Travis. The girls congregate as the bride prepares to throw the bouquet, and their boyfriends watch the ensuing scuffle with amusement until Cher triumphantly surfaces, bouquet in hand. Girl, you're 15. And that is Clueless.
Oh my god.
Some things don't age
A
well.
lot of things don't age well. It's one thing if a 15-year-old is like, ew, I don't want to date high schoolers, I want to date college boys. It's one thing for a 15-year-old to want to do that because 15-year-olds are stupid. It is another thing for a college-aged guy to pursue and enable such a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. Like, bro, he's got to be like at least a year or two in college, which means he's at least 19 or 20 years old. And he's hanging around with some 15-year-old. And then he goes to like a high school party? Like, what
He's
is
concerned.
wrong with you?
He's
15-year-olds are
concerned.
children.
15-year-olds are children.
He's not concerned. He's jealous, which is grosser. I don't know. It seems like it would be like a fun turn your brain off movie. But
I mean, it's also like Alicia Silverstone is like what 25 when this movie comes out.
yeah,
Probably.
she does not look 15. Like no one
Right?
looks high school aged in there.
Like 15. Like I thought it was gonna say like 17.
I thought they were college or like seniors. Yeah, but 15. Like,
Okay, she was 18 when they made the movie.
oh, that's not much better. It's still like, I don't know what kind of message they're sending with that movie. It's like they took the source material, which already is kind of shitty, and then the movie, because of that, the messages are really not that great either. Because she still isn't selfless or helpful or anything. It's all based around her stupid little perspective as like a rich white girl.
Well, yeah, I mean that is what the
Which is what the book is about, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean she doesn't really change her perspective that much.
No.
So much as it's like, oh, I can be wrong sometimes. Which, I mean, it's the same sort of journey that Cher goes through, right? Like, oh, maybe I'm not right all the time. I mean, I think also the thing about, like, the book, it in itself, is that she's not actively looking for, like, she's not interested in, like, getting married.
Yeah.
Right? Where in this, Cher clearly has an interest, right, in, like, boys. And then also, right, as in the book, right, Emma herself, she's a rich woman, right, but she's a single rich woman. She's like almost considered an old maid, right? Like she has this sort of autonomy to herself, right? That in all of her decisions. Whereas like since Cher is like 17 and she's like a child. Well, not 17, she's 15. I keep forgetting else, right? She's 15 and she's like in this super materialistic world, right? Like she is falling into like the pitfalls of being like a teenager and like of the era. So it takes away some of that, like what makes Emma in herself like a feminist type of character, as opposed to like that. Here where it's sort of like anti.
That's a good analysis, because when Jane Austen was around, like a lot of women did not have any autonomy. The only decision they were allowed to make was, do you want to marry this guy or not? And only like the really privileged women were even allowed to have that sort
Yeah,
of
because like even
decision.
if in like Pride and Prejudice, right?
Yeah.
Like Lizzie says no to Mr. Collins, and it's this whole big deal because it's like, first of all, he is going to inherit this house that you're living in, and none of you guys are going to get it. So you'll actually still have this house, right? This
Yeah.
house will stay in the family, right? Two, you'll be married. We don't have to worry about you,
Mhm.
right? And it's like, also three, we don't have any money, so
Yeah.
just getting married, like in itself, right? It's just better
It's
than you
gonna
being
help the
destitute.
family.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to help the family as well, right? And she of course rejects him, and then she also rejects
Rejects
Mr. Darcy, who's
Darcy.
super rich, right? Like even if you don't like him, he's super rich, and like her mom is like just marry somebody rich, like it's all they want, you
Yeah,
know?
she's like, "You're stupid. What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah. Like if the mom knew that she had rejected Mr. Darcy that first time, it would have been horrible for Elizabeth, you know. So it's like that saying, being able to say no, right, despite the
Yeah.
fact that she isn't like well off, like let's say Emma is,
Yeah.
right? Like it shows like that sort of,
Yeah.
right, like that autonomy that she has given herself, right?
Yeah.
That character in that situation in that book, you know.
Yeah.
And
And
then Amber
then
herself, because she does have that power and she has that influence over the other characters, right?
mhm.
Like in this adaptation, right, it's her popularity that gives her like that power, right?
Mhm.
Whereas in the book, it's because she's rich and she comes from an influential family,
Mhm.
right? So it's
I guess I could see why that book was popular then, because I imagine it's kind of for the same reason that Gone with the Wind was popular. Because Emma reminds me a little bit of Scarlet. They're very different, but at least in what we've talked about them, I haven't read either book. But like
mm-hmm.
Scarlet was very much like she was seen as like this independent, really feisty woman who was making all sorts of terrible decisions, but at least she
Yeah,
was like making
making
decisions,
decisions.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which in and of itself is a big deal if you're not even really allowed or expected to do that. So I could see how reading Emma could feel like some sort of guilty pleasure, fun, sort of whatever book of like, oh my god, this ridiculous lady, blah blah blah. Like she's just living her life and like just kind of ruining other people's lives, but just doing like her own thing. Like how like I guess like modern day when you're watching characters being like a little self-destructive but they're likable and they're sassy or whatever, so then like even though they're spending a lot of money or eating really poorly or just like whatever, let's just do blah 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 blah, then it's like fun because it's like an escapism sort of thing. Like I'm thinking of Tuca and Birdie and the character of Tuca. She participates in like a lot of kind of reckless behavior, but it's really fun to watch. But she also does grow throughout the show, so there's like a point to it versus with Emma and I guess Clueless. So it feels like some of that doesn't quite translate to Clueless because in Clueless, because it's based in Los Angeles and she's white and she's trying to help people, a lot of it reads as like the core of the problem with a lot of like white liberalism, like the LA liberal in California, right? Because a lot of people who are, not a lot, but many people who are from Los Angeles, especially that like Beverly Hills area, they might be good-hearted, they might mean well, they might vote for the right person, but they still like they think they know what's best for other people, so they're the type of white women who speak over like marginalized women, or they act like they know what the actual thing is. They feel a bit affronted if they're not at the center of the movement, even though the movement is not about them. They don't quite know how to be an ally. Like they want to help, but they are taking away. That's But then there's no like real commentary on what to do to like avoid that.
mm-hmm.
Like even like that beginning scene where she's talking about the Haitians, like I thought that scene out of context, not in the before I saw the trailer, was supposed to be like this big pivotal important ending moment of like the movie where like she's selfish or whatever, but then she has this nice speech where she's like, like why not invite everybody to the table? Why not help everybody, right? But apparently it's like in the beginning of this debate class and it's part of the reason why she has like a C and she's mispronouncing Haitians. So it's like this is actually way more superficial than I thought. Maybe it is in a different part of the movie, but the way that it was framed so early in the trailer and how she was talking gave me a totally different impact than when I had seen it out of context. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel like it just doesn't do anything to challenge that sort of like white women activism, the issues of that, right? Like the Beckys or whatever, like the well-meaning whatnot. She's not really much of an activist, but she still thinks she knows what's best for everybody, and that gets her and other people into problems. And it doesn't seem like she even, because like no one actually calls her out on her bad behavior. It sounds like when she goes to her dad and is upset, he's like, no, you are a good person. So all she gets is like affirmation of like, no, actually everything you did was good. It was just, it didn't play out how you wanted, and you couldn't control that. But it's like, no, you could control that. So I don't know if the movie actually goes into like, no, you actually did make mistakes and you did hurt people and you need to own up to that. But it doesn't really sound like that, because the other girl is the one who apologized to her, even though Cher is the one who originally was like, don't hang out with this skater boy, he's not good for you. And then she only really like allows it later when the guy proves his worth to her. Like she doesn't learn anything. So it's I don't know what to think about it.
She learned that she feels good when she does things for charity.
To get the attention of this college-aged guy that she shouldn't even be trying to get the attention of. I don't know. I would be interested in watching the movie just so I can have like a better, more well-rounded opinion on it. To have this sort of criticism, but
the context.
Yeah, I want like the context. I want to see how they execute it. But based on what you read and what you've told me about the book and what I know about LA liberals,
it all checks out.
It all checks out.
I've connected the dots. You haven't connected shit.
I've connected them.
Yeah, we haven't connected anything. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like it's a fun movie. I did know that Paul Rudd was, like, her stepbrother, but not stepbrother. Like, that was also a thing that I was kind of confused about, and I was like, what? So, another reason why I hadn't watched it, because I was like, I don't want to work that out. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I really like 80s teen, like, high school movies, but I'm not a big fan of, like, 90s, 2000s teen high school movies.
Yeah.
I think it's just me specifically.
I mean, like, I've seen, like, 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club.
I love both those movies. I used to watch, like, 16 Candles when I was, like, 8.
I didn't really like 16 Candles.
You shut your stupid whore mouth.
Bruh, there's, like, such a racist stereotype in there against my group of people.
No, yeah, look. The long duck dong joke is terrible. The whole, like, he can't understand, like, English and stuff. It's terrible.
And then,
but
like...
I love that movie.
I just don't get the point of it. I think there's, like... I remember there was one scene in the movie where I was just like, what? Like, towards the end. It was, like, the second to last scene. I was like, what? Like, it just felt like nothing changed. Or, like, got resolved, I think. Because they still forgot her birthday, right?
No, the parents remember. The next day, the mom is like, oh, we forgot your birthday. No, wait. At night, she has, like, this whole thing.
She, like, has the candles
and she gets
herself.
upset. And the dad is like, oh, we forgot your birthday. Yeah, and then the mom is like, oh, we forgot your birthday. And then there's like, oh... tells the brother, like, oh, we forgot her birthday. He's like, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. And she's like, oh, okay. But yeah, because her birthday was, like, the day before her sister's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just like that. I just didn't like... I was like, come on, like, it's still her birthday. And, like, she, like, spends, like, the whole day, like, just waiting to see if they remember. And then
someone who's had their birthday forgotten, like... that is how it is, and nobody makes it up to you. They're just like, oh, we forgot, sorry? And they're like, yeah, it's fine, I already cried my tears, don't worry about it. I'm only like 13, but it's cool.
So it was a cathartic movie for you then.
Well, no, I've seen it before then, but I think I really got it after that moment.
Yeah. Because for me, it's just like, it just felt so. It was so disappointing. Like I was so disappointed in so many of the characters. It just wasn't
Mm-hmm.
fun for me to watch because they didn't do anything to make up for it. From what I remember, it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we forgot. And you spend the whole movie like her, like just waiting. Like, are they gonna remember? They're gonna remember, and they don't. And it's
The
her
point,
16th
the point of
birthday
the movie though
too.
isn't the fact that her birthday was forgotten. It's about her relationship with that guy, Jake.
Well, I didn't really like the relationship part either. I didn't like much of it. Like, I think, like, if the point of the movie is to like feel like her that disappointment, then like, okay, I got it. But I still didn't like at
But the
the first
ending
time I
scene when
watched it, I
they
didn't like
kiss
it.
over the birthday cake. Oh, forget it. We're not gonna get into that. I love that movie. We're not gonna. I know the long duck dong thing is terrible, but I love that movie.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. But I remembered watching on the first try. I was like, what? It didn't hit me like Breakfast Club did.
Breakfast Club is good.
Yeah, I really liked Breakfast Club. But
Yeah, I've always wanted to have Bender vibes. The
the problem kid.
Yeah, I've always because he looks so cool. I've always sort of wanted to look like him. I also really like Ali Sheedy's character,
I like
which
her
is a
too.
weird character. I've also really like her.
She was my favorite. She and the nerd were my
The
favorite.
nerd, yeah.
And he plays such like a terrible character in 16 Candles too. So I was like, I don't want to about any of this. This is, but yeah. Well, what would you rate this movie, and would you watch it?
I'd probably watch it again. I don't think it'd be something I look for, um, but I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still interested.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there is like the whole like annoying white girl thing that I don't like, which is why I don't watch a lot of movies. And this movie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I could just walk outside and talk to a white woman if I wanted to hear that.
And yet you like 16 Candles, which is filled with white people.
It is, but it's not about the white people problem. It's about being a teenager and just all the little things that could go wrong about being a teenager. And as someone who had a very mild teenage them, it's nice to know that I didn't have to go through that, you know? Like, there must have been a girl in my school who was going through some deep shit, but I didn't. I just used to hang out on that bench with my friends and go to the movies and order the same thing every time we went to SRO and chicken fingers and fries. And the guy at the register would be like, chicken fingers and fries. He'd be like, yep. And then he'd go to the next one and be like, chicken fingers and yep. Just keep them coming. That's all we're getting. Going to drama. Going to theater practice. Yep. That was my high school. But I was like, out there's some poor girl whose birthday was forgotten and she's getting hit on by some nerds and she's probably giving him his underwear. And then she's falling in love with the hot guy in school. Who I didn't know who the hot guy was because I wasn't cool enough to know who the hot guy was. But I'm sure whoever he was really hot and he fell in love and they kissed over a birthday cake. And it was beautiful. And I was like, damn. That's a journey.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Some freeform slam poetry.
Yeah, well, I'm a born romantic. What can I say? What can I say?
You could say how many stars you would rate this.
Oh, right. I'd give it like 3 stars. I haven't seen it. So, you know. You know what I do get every year? Sorry, Christmas socks. I have a shit ton of Christmas socks.
I need more socks.
I'm not buying you Christmas socks.
I'm not. I'm just saying I need more. I bought myself a bunch of Christmas socks last year because Old Navy had that huge Black Friday sale. So I just bought like 5 pairs of fuzzy socks. One of them
you can't
is
wear fuzzy
like
socks. It's like your gym
T-Rex
shoes.
with Santa hat.
Sorry,
Okay.
but yeah.
I would watch this movie. I think I have to watch this movie so I can solidify my opinion
I have to.
on the movie. So if I can remember it, I might like seek it out. But I'm developing a strong opinion about it, and the movie seems tolerable enough to watch. So I'm like, okay, I have to watch this
It's not
movie.
tolerable enough to tempt me.
It's like the precursor to like before I watched The Prestige. I was
My
like, I
Pride
have
and
like
Prejudice homies know what I'm talking about. Continue.
huh?
Nothing. Continue.
I'll hear it later when I'm editing it. Like, oh, that's what Monze said.
That's what I said, sucker.
Yeah. But no, I feel like I'm like again like I'm developing a strong opinion. I need to actually watch it to back it up, and it seems tolerable enough to watch. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars.
If you can't even bother to give it 3, you have to.
No, it gets 3 if I watch it and realize I like it more than I originally thought.
Thought
But
based
it
off
drops
the
to 2
synopsis.
if I watch it. I'm like, oh, it's exactly what I thought, and it was worse. And if it's about the same, then it stays at 2.5.
Hmm.
So that's what I have to say about that.
That's what they have to say about that. Okay.
Yep.
Look at you.
Look at me. You can't because it's a podcast.
But
So
I can look at you.
you can look at me. I can look at you.
And look at that sweater.
Yeah.
Look at that sweater.
Monty, where can they find us?
Oh my goodness. You can find us at Don't Watch Movies on Twitter. I memorized it. I didn't really. And you can find me at Magic Monster on Twitter.
Oh, you didn't say it like you usually
Monster
do.
with a Z. Monster.
There we go. Magic Mons.
Magic Monster. I realize, yeah, I do say it like that. I just want to make sure they know it's not like an S. It's with a Z, because my name has a Z in it.
Yeah. And you can find me at Korean is Korean. That's 1 R and 2 N's and a C on Twitter.
In any order.
Cool. Thanks for listening. If you've seen Clueless, let us know in the comments below. It is a bit of a cult classic, I think. It's very popular.
Yeah, it's definitely
most
a cult
people
classic.
seem to like the movie a lot. So
Well, I mean, lots of people like Mean Girls. I can't stand that movie.
I guess that's true.
Lots of people like 16 Candles, but apparently you don't like that movie. If you like 16 Candles and you're with me on this, let me know. DM me.
Let us know. DM Monze. Don't DM Monze. Monze won't get back to you.
What are you talking about? Did you DM me?
No. I feel like if you got DM'd by a stranger, you'd be like, what do I do? And then you would like ignore it at first because you got to figure out what to do. And then by the time you got around to wanting to answer, you'd be like, it's been 5 hours.
Why you gotta call me out like this? I don't come to your house and call you out like this.
I didn't come to your house. I'm calling you out from the safe distance of, how many miles? 700 miles?
Look, audience, I'm a very awkward person. Today I went to the post office to buy holiday stamps. And I was like, because I need to send out my Christmas cards.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm not going to go to the machine. I'm going to go to an actual person so I can get holiday stamps. So I'm like, can I get some stamps? And usually they pull out their book of stamps and be like, these are the ones. And I pick out my holiday stamps. This lady just pulled out American flag stamps and was like, that's $11. And I was like, okay.
No.
So I bought American flag stamps. I'm not going to use those for my Christmas cards. I'm not a monster.
So you went back?
So I bought them and I walked to the parking garage and I drove home and I was like, Mom, the postal worker didn't offer me holiday stamps. And she was like, what are you doing? You're almost 30 years old. You should be able to ask for holiday stamps. And Jules has her tab class in the background because she's doing it on Zoom. And my mom had to cover her mouth because she realized they could probably hear her screaming at me about how I'm almost 30 and I can't even buy holiday stamps because I can't ask for them because I don't want to bother the postal worker who already charged me for the stamps she threw out at me.
She could just swap them. They cost the same.
I know, but I'm like, she already did that, and she looked so unhappy, and I was like, I know you close in like 20 minutes, but I just got out of work, like...
Oh my goodness.
So I think I need to go on my own time and buy some actual holiday stamps. I gotta go to my local post office, and not the one that's right across the street from my work.
I was gonna say you're gonna go to a different one so you don't accidentally run into the same postal worker. Oh, Monze.
Look,
I have to buy holiday stamps too.
It's not my fault I have social anxiety, okay? It's not my fault that I'm not good around people or strangers or myself.
It's
Anyway.
okay, Monze. It's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's right. It's okay. We all have
Um,
problems. Shut up.
we do. I have so many. Uh, yeah, thanks again for listening, and we'll
Thanks
talk to you
again